Breaking news today. Deal for ceasefire announced by Israel and Hamas. The two sides, Israel and Hamas, have announced a temporary truce in hostilities. Kim Helmgard, a correspondent for World Affairs for USA Today, discusses Palestinian perspectives on Hamas. People trying to cross the southern border are slipping off the wall. California schools are now mandating media literacy. The detection of an enigmatic respiratory disease in dogs has been made. To listen to the podcast and follow along with the transcript, just hit play on the player above. The current version of this transcript was created automatically and then edited to make it clearer. The audio and written versions might not be completely identical. The law firm represented by Taylor Wilson. Hello there. Hello, my name is Taylor Wilson, and it is Wednesday, the 22nd of November. Excerpt from this work. Migrants are plunging off the southern border wall. A temporary ceasefire has been agreed upon by Israel and Hamas, and the ability to recognize and reject fake news has become a mandatory curriculum item in California schools. Diamond suit. A 4-day truce in the Gaza conflict has been agreed upon by Israel and Hamas, with the release of numerous hostages as part of a prisoner exchange. As part of the agreement, Hamas would free 50 of the approximately 240 hostages it has in custody. Israel has pledged to add 1 day to the truce for every 10 hostages that are freed. In the beginning, the majority of the freed individuals will be minors and women. In return for Palestinians held in Israeli prisons, hostages will be released. We are at war and we will continue the war, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said emphatically, indicating that the deal was only temporary. Until we accomplish all our objectives, unquote. While we announced the arrival of a truce agreement, we affirm that our hands will remain on the trigger, and our victorious battalions will remain on the lookout to defend our people and defeat the occupation and aggression, unquote. Hamas said in a statement, following the confirmation of the ceasefire and its terms. Israel and Hamas have been in indirect talks, facilitated by Qatar, for weeks leading up to the announcement of a ceasefire. Discussions also included Egypt and the United States. Last month, militants from Hamas launched an attack on Israel, capturing hostages and killing 1,200 people. After launching airstrikes on Gaza a week ago, Israel invaded the territory on land. From what we can tell from the Gaza Health Ministry, they have murdered over 11,000 Palestinians. Diamond suit. Many Palestinians have a complicated relationship and view of Hamas, and it is still unclear what the next stage of the Israel-Hamas war might look like. Kim Helmgard, a World Affairs correspondent for USA Today, and I had a conversation about this. Thank you for joining us on the excerpt, Kim. Welcome, Kim Helmgard. It was a pleasure to be here. The law firm represented by Taylor Wilson. What did you hear most frequently about Hamas and how did opinions differ when you spoke with Palestinians, Kim? Welcome, Kim Helmgard. What I've learned is that discussing Hamas with Palestinians is a very delicate matter. Governments in the United States and Europe consider Hamas to be a terrorist group. Since it is also in charge of the Gaza Strip, it has a hand in running hospitals and schools, and the Palestinian people have various interactions with it. The group as a whole, and the militant faction in particular, is known for its history of oppressing Palestinians. Examples of this kind of behavior include torture, corruption, tortured people, and the prohibition of protests. Certainly prior to the attacks on October 7, this was a major aspect of the daily interaction between many Palestinians and Hamas. Meanwhile, Palestinians have lost their lives as a result of Israel's retaliatory military campaign following these attacks in Israel. As a result, I learned from this reporting that Palestinians have a hard time finding the right words to describe Hamas. On the one hand, they disapprove of the group because of the opportunities it has brought to the Gaza Strip. On the other hand, they find it difficult to publicly denounce the group in light of the high number of civilian casualties. To be more specific, the Palestinian people have been repeatedly asked, "Will you condemn Hamas?" During the past 7 weeks.